A lone engineer stands in a quiet workshop in the late 1950s. Sheets of aluminum, springs, and polymer parts are scattered across the bench like pieces of a future no one can imagine yet. He picks up an unfinished prototype, a futuristic shape, too light to be taken seriously, too different to be accepted by the old guard. But this strange-looking rifle, this experiment of plastics and aircraft metal, will one day become the most discussed, most debated, most influential firearm in American history. It will shape military tactics, dominate competitive shooting, redefine what a civilian rifle can be, and become a symbol, depending on who you ask, of innovation, freedom, controversy, power, or all of the above. This is the story of the AR-15. Not the headlines. Not the politics. Just the engineering, the evolution, and the platform that changed everything. Before the AR-15 became a cultural icon, it was simply an idea born at the right moment in technological history. To understand the rifle, we have to understand the world it entered. In the 1950s, Armorite was a tiny company with big dreams. While the firearms world relied on wood and steel, Armorite wanted to use aircraft aluminum and reinforced polymers. These were unheard of ideas for a combat rifle. Enter Eugene Stoner, the man behind the R-10. The AR-15 was its smaller caliber younger brother, intentionally designed to be lighter, faster, and more modern than anything used on the world stage. Weapons experts laughed at the idea. Plastic, aluminum, a rifle lighter than a gallon of milk. But Stoner wasn't building the next gun. He was building the future. When the first R-15 prototypes landed in the hands of military testers, reactions were split. Some soldiers loved the weight, the controllability, and the low recoil. Others called it a toy. Traditionalists questioned its durability. Could aluminum survive battlefield abuse? Could a polymer stock hold up in the jungle? Nobody knew. The rifle was too new, almost alien. But the early tests hinted at something powerful. A rifle soldiers could fire accurately, quickly, and repeatedly without fatigue. That capability alone would shape the next 60 years of small arms development. In the 1960s, global politics changed rapidly, and so did warfare. The US needed a new infantry rifle, something lighter than the M14, something soldiers could carry in large quantities, something with a high rate of fire and modern materials. Colt purchased the R-15 design from Armorite and refined it. The US military designated it the M16. Suddenly, the weird aluminum rifle became standard issue. Of course, this phase wasn't smooth. There were early reliability failures, ammo mismatches, and training problems. But over time, improvements like chrome-lined chambers and better powders stabilized the platform. By the late Vietnam era, the M16A1 had proven itself as a truly modern rifle. While the M16 matured on the battlefield, the civilian R-15 took on a life of its own back home. In the 1970s and 1980s, shooters began to appreciate its lightweight modular nature. In the 1990s, accessory makers exploded in popularity. Rails, stocks, optics, grips, the AR became the Lego set of rifles. By the early 2000s, competitive shooters transformed the AR into a precision instrument. Hunters used it to build lightweight carbines. Home defense users built compact, maneuverable setups. The AR-15 was no longer one rifle. It was infinite rifles. Today, the AR-15 platform exists in more configurations than any firearm in history. There are AR-15s chambered in 5.56, .300 Blackout, 6.5 Grendel, 9mm, .224 Valkyrie, .50 Beowulf, .450 Bushmaster. If there's a caliber, someone has put it inside an AR. The modern M4 carbine, used by the US military, is the evolutionary descendant of the original R-15 design. Collapsible stocks, flat top uppers, optics integration, rail systems, it all stems from the core idea Eugene Stoner built decades ago. Most importantly, the modular nature lets shooters swap barrels, triggers, handguards, and optics with simple tools. No other rifle platform in history has been upgraded and customized to this extent. In competition shooting, the AR platform dominates because of its accuracy and low recoil. In home defense, its controllability and ergonomics make it a common choice. In hunting, lightweight builds allow long hikes with minimal fatigue. But beyond its practical use, the AR-15 became a cultural symbol. Some see it as a symbol of rights, others see controversy, but our focus here is engineering, innovation, and history. What's undeniable is this. The AR-15 influenced military rifles worldwide and continues to set the standard for modular firearm design. Rifle technology keeps evolving: smart optics, hybrid materials, new calibers, carbon fiber barrels. But the AR's architecture is so adaptable that it keeps absorbing every new innovation. 60 years after its birth, engineers still haven't found the end of what this rifle can become. The AR-15 didn't just become popular. It became a platform, a blueprint, an idea that keeps growing. And it all began with a handful of prototypes. On a quiet workbench, in a tiny company, where one engineer built the future.